Welcome to this week's Am I the A-hole episode, where we read some divisive stories posted on Reddit, and the original poster asks if they are the a-hole based on that story. My husband gave me a warning tap, and I called it abuse. Am I the a-hole? As I'm writing this, I'm lying in bed with my mum. She helped me gather my thoughts for some other opinions. I'm 24F and my husband is 30M. We've been together for 3 years and married for 1. About a week ago, my husband and I got into an argument over his phone, which he'd misplaced. I was in the shower when he lost it, and when I came out, he was throwing a f***ing fit over it. He was like, "Where did you put it? Have you seen it?" Angrily yelling and snapping. I said I hadn't touched it and I needed to get dressed. But my husband was standing in the doorway looking behind the door, so I couldn't open it. I said, "Hello, move please." Apparently my tone was rude because my husband turned around and shoved me into the room. I was like, "Okay, you need to calm down. I can help you look, but I gotta get dressed." He tells me to hurry up, and I snap back, "I'm not gonna hurry up, this isn't my f***ing fault." My husband then turned around and hit me on my mouth with the back of his hand. It didn't even really hurt, but I was appalled. He called it a warning tap because of my attitude. I left right then and there. I called my mum and came over. I haven't left since. My brother took me over the next day to get a few things. My husband asked me if this is all really necessary, and I said, yeah, it is when you abuse your wife. He was so stricken that I called it abuse. He screamed at me for it. He said I can ruin his career if I use that word. I know that I can, and I know that he didn't even hurt me, but that's how I feel. He sent me several texts threatening to divorce me if I used that word again, or tried to hurt his career by saying it to someone important. Am I the a-hole for saying this, potentially citing this, and potentially ruining his career? Absolutely not. The guy obviously has anger issues if he flips out about losing his phone so much that he physically threatens you. And what, if your attitude, which is totally wrong by the way, because you were only reflecting his aggressive and erratic behaviour, but if your attitude didn't change after his warning tap, is he then going to hit you? Because that's what he's implying. He just sounds like a really toxic and aggressive guy who didn't hurt you this time, but probably will next time and will use the threat of his work finding out to keep you quiet. In my opinion, leave the marriage as soon as possible. Bibliophile with coffee, I think, makes a great response in the comments. Not the a-hole. It was abuse. Putting your hands on someone isn't abuse only if it breaks the skin or hurts at a 7+ on the pain scale. He shoved you, then he hit you. That is abuse. If he didn't want his career destroyed over this, then he shouldn't have raised his hands. He made bad choices, he must face the consequences. Also, a little question for him. If he isn't abusive, what was the warning tap hit to the face a warning of? Was he warning you that he was going to tickle you? Or that more violence was coming? Warnings are the thing that comes before the big bad scary. So his warning abuse was a warning of more abuse. Congratulations on him agreeing to a divorce. Please publicly destroy his career and save the next woman. Am I the a-hole for suing my boyfriend and breaking up with him after finding out he secretly filmed us and posted it online? Okay, here goes. I, 29F, recently broke up with my boyfriend, 32M, after finding out something truly horrible, and I feel totally wrecked by it all. I don't know if I'm overreacting, but I ended things and now I'm suing him, and some people in my life are acting like I'm the one being unreasonable. For a bit of backstory, we've been together just over a year. Everything seemed great, or at least I thought it was. But over the last few months, I noticed he was a bit weird with his phone. Always turning it away or putting it face down. He also seemed to have a lot more cash than usual, which I thought was odd because he works a normal job and we both sometimes struggled financially. When I asked, he just brushed it off and said he was doing some side hustle and not to worry about it. Then last week, my gut feeling just went into overdrive and I decided to snoop a bit. I know, not great on my part, but something didn't sit right. I went through his phone while he was asleep and found hidden folders full of videos. Videos of us, taken during private moments when I had no idea a camera was even on. I started freaking out and digging deeper, and that's when I realised he'd been posting them on a subscription site for money. I saw comments from strangers, money transactions, everything. When I confronted him the next day, he didn't even try to deny it. He told me he needed the money and thought I'd never find out. He even tried to make me feel like I should just let it go because everyone is doing this right now. He told me it was harmless, that people loved us, and that I should be proud of the attention. Proud? I felt so disgusted and violated, I couldn't even look at him. I told him I was done and left that day. Here's the kicker though, I'm suing him now. I went to a lawyer and we're going after him for invasion of privacy and emotional distress. I feel totally justified, but now some mutual friends are saying I'm overreacting and that it's just the modern way of making money, that I should have been flattered by the attention. One even said maybe I should just move on because it's not like he physically hurt me. It's like they don't get how serious this is and how much this betrayal has messed with my trust. I don't know, am I being too harsh here? I feel like I have every right to hold him accountable, but the backlash from friends is making me wonder if I'm being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole for not just breaking up, but also going after him legally? No, definitely not the a-hole. You should be entitled to at least half of everything he's earned with those videos. And then, well, he should be sentenced to prison. He unknowingly shared explicit videos of you online, and I'm pretty sure that's considered sexual abuse and warrants jail time. Regardless, it's absolute scum behaviour and he deserves every penalty that you can find for it. Kieran Speaks sums it up nicely in the comments. Not the a-hole. Sue him and drop these clowns that are saying you're overreacting. You were violated in a profound way by someone you trusted and you have every right to sue. Especially because he definitely wasn't sharing the profits of his disgusting side hustle. Am I the a-hole for accidentally ruining a marriage? I, 38M, recently found out that my girlfriend Kate, 37F, was a married woman. Kate and I met in a bar after I was stood up by a date from Tinder. She and I hit it off pretty quick and she stayed over at my place. When she told me about her life, she told me that her parents were dead, lie. She had never married anyone, lie. She said she was vehemently against cheating, lie. She also said her job sent her abroad, lie. She was also away for most of the year, and when I asked her why, she said the higher-ups in the company she worked for were reorganising things, which was also a lie. I believed her. I'd never caught her lying, so I never had any reason to doubt her. Our relationship was good, or at least it appeared that way. We went on dates when she was available. I bought her flowers, jewellery, a new phone, and dresses. We weren't without our arguments, but they were small ones. Then, after 2 years of our relationship, I found the truth. She was always protective of her purse, and usually kept it really close to her around the house. I also caught her looking into it, only to snap her head up when I came in, like she was hiding something, which I should have seen as a red flag in hindsight. So when she forgot it at my apartment, I was confused. I'd picked it up and was in my car when I heard a ring coming from inside the bag. Looking inside, I found a phone, a different phone from the one I always see her with. For a second, I thought it was a company phone. Then I saw the caller ID, and it was someone called Jason with a couple of heart emojis after it. I answered the call and asked who it was. When a man on the other side asked who I was, I told him I was Kate's boyfriend. He went silent for a couple moments before saying that Kate was his wife. I was also silent for a moment. I felt my world crashing down. He told me to put everything back the way I found it and asked for my number, telling me he would call me back later. I went back inside and made sure to put everything back the way it was, and not 5 minutes later, Kate came back, grabbed her purse, kissed my cheek, and told me she had a work trip, and left. I scrubbed that cheek for 10 minutes with soap afterwards. Later that night, Jason called me. He explained that they'd been married for 8 years and had 2 children. I told him that we'd been dating for the past 2 years and she'd just left on a business trip. He said she didn't even have a job and she was currently in his house. Before he hung up, he asked if we could meet. The next day, I woke up to some texts from Kate about her business trip, which made me sick just looking at them. I called in sick to work and just looked at some pictures of us, some trinkets she got me, and reminisced about our short relationship. Jason and I met in a cafe, and he began telling me his story. He showed me pictures of his children, his family, and Kate's family. They all looked so happy in those pictures. I asked him why he was showing me all of this, and he said, "That woman destroyed a family for sex, so you should know what kind of family she destroyed." He told me that he was planning to divorce her, and said that I could have her once they were divorced. But I told him I don't want a cheater or a liar, because I believe that cheaters and liars are losers. He asked if I wanted to testify in court, and I said yes. He also asked if I wanted a recording of her reaction, and I said yes to that as well. I'll be getting it tomorrow. He told me that he would keep in touch, and sent me the contact info for a divorce lawyer he'd hired. Before I left, I apologised for ruining his marriage, but he said that he was happy it was a reasonable person instead of someone else, and that it wasn't my fault. But I still feel horrible. Am I the a-hole for accidentally ruining the life of a husband and his kids? There's an update which was added very recently, which is him describing the video he was sent of her reaction from being confronted about this by her husband. But I just want to slip in and say, for the third time today, that obviously you're not the a-hole. You had no idea about her family or her compulsive lying. It's really not fair to hold yourself responsible for this, as the way she so instinctively and naturally lies to you about everything in her life is borderline psychotic, and she is wholly responsible for the consequences. Okay, onto the update. Hello there. First, I want to say thank you to all the people who showed their support. Really, it meant a lot. Now, onto the update. Not a lot happened, but I'm cracking up right now. Jason emailed me the video. He had a GoPro set up in the room, one with audio, and called Kate in. Jason said he had a gift for her and handed her the manila envelope. The look on her face was priceless. I know it might sound cruel, but the way her face went from, "Oh goody, a gift," to, "What the f*** is this?" was so satisfying. He had written, "I want a divorce," on printer paper. Of course, the usual happened. She was asking him what he meant. Then he confronted her. She started begging, the compromising, the usual thing people do when caught. Then came the nastiness. She started screaming at him and straight up incriminated herself. Quote, "Well, the fact I've been with 3 other men shows me how dumb you are." Safe to say we're getting STD tests. He was completely calm during this as well. I don't know how he was, but that just seemed to infuriate her further, cause she started stomping around, throwing a full-on tantrum. After that, she left the room. Jason also texted me that she'd packed her bags and left, so I figured she was coming over to my place, which gave me some time to think up something to say when she arrived. Sure enough, half an hour later, I hear knocking on my door. I open it to see Kate standing there with some bags. Before she can even say anything, I say this. So, am I the third man or the fourth? The moment she heard this, she must have put 2 and 2 together, cause she started screaming at me as well. I closed the door and locked it, but she kept yelling and screaming at me to come out. I called her a worthless not really proud of that, and told her I'd called the cops. She then left, probably off to her other flings, or her, very much alive, parents for support. I called Jason, told him what happened, and we both had a good laugh. He told me that he would serve her with the papers when she inevitably comes back for her stuff. There's a good response in the comments by Sexual Dinosaur. 100% not the a-hole, you seem like a really great guy. The fact you're going to testify for the husband is such a good thing. I'm hoping the husband gets full custody of the children and she's stuck with no job and has to figure out a way to pay child support. Hang in there. I know it's all fresh, but you will feel better with time. Okay, my voice is starting to die, so I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any thoughts on any of the stories, please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.